Over the course of 10 centuries, Muslim pirates cruised the African and Mediterranean coastline, pillaging villages and seizing slaves. They would attack at pre-dawn on unexpected coastal towns. The Muslim raiders would kill as many of the non-Muslim older men and women as possible, collecting only young women and children to sell them into the slave markets of the Middle East as concubines or eunuchs. Many did not survive. Terrorizing Muslim pirates dispatched and commissioned from the surrounding Mediterranean countries, along with women and children passengers, and put them into the slavery. Many were never heard from again. The names of those who were captured by the Barbary pirates were read aloud each Sunday in their churches, just as those who were lost at sea. Some captives were held for ransom, but most of the money would have to be raised privately by widows and family friends and children, as Congress was unable to pay the full asking price.
It started actually in 1784 when they began to attack our merchant ships. That was the lifeline of our fledgling country. Import-export was something that we really needed. And they started to attack our ships and to capture our people and our goods and actually enslave our people. It has been estimated by several sources that at the end of the conflict, over 30 years later, that they had kidnapped 1.25 million people and enslaved them, some of them trying to actually sell them back to us for a ransom. But it's just an amazing thing in our history that we have forgotten that we fought a group of nations, Algiers, Tunis, Morocco, and Tripoli, around the Mediterranean, that were capturing our ships. We had no navy because, of course, our navy had been the Navy of Great Britain, and so we were separated from them, and these merchant ships were defenseless because the only type of cannon that they really had to speak of was normally used just to send a warning signal in the fog stating that they were there. And up to that time, international law had stipulated among nations that there was something called international waters, and within so many miles of any coastal area that ship had safe passage. Well, Muslim terrorists back in those days, these extremists that were called the Corsairs or pirates, began to attack in force in 1784. Actually, before that, they were beginning to attack our merchant ships, even while we were beginning to draw to an end the War for Independence. We gave 3 men the charge to go over and try to talk with some of these Muslim nations. They were very interesting men. One of the ambassadors to the Muslim nations surrounding the Mediterranean Sea was Thomas Jefferson. Another one was Benjamin Franklin. The third was John Adams, even before George Washington became the first president under the new Constitution. And so they went over and they basically found out that these people did not want to be reasoned with, that they only understood force, and that they had no intentions of giving up people that they had captured and enslaved at that time. Well, George Washington became the President of the United States, and the war began in earnest. And it wasn't until Thomas Jefferson became our third president that he realized we were paying over 20% of our gross national product as tribute money or extortion money to these Muslim nations. And he said, look, not one more penny for tribute, but millions for defense. And he took that same money that we were paying to these nations that were attacking us through their Barbary pirates, and he invested it into our Navy and Marine Corps and sent them over and started taking care of business. Just an amazing thing that we don't even know. Many of us don't even know that there was such a thing as the Tripoli War or the Barbary War, and the Marines remember it because they sang in their Marine hymn, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, and the Tripoli War is also another name for the Barbary Powers War.